Okay, we are doing it. Hello, my name is Deshaun Allenson. So the reason I'm doing this is because I have enlisted to the United States Air Force. So I've been wanting to post on a channel about this for a while. I was gonna do like progress of like my PT and all of that, just like how I start training and all of that stuff. I do still have that footage, so I can, do like a small mashup and show you that. Don't be alarmed. We used to have locks, but going into the Air Force or anywhere in the military, men cannot have hair, long hair. So it will be cut, and they weren't gonna cut my hair. So that was out of the window already. No question about it. I'll cut my own hair, and then y'all can, buzz cut me with what little hair I have on my head. You can take that. But you're not taking the locks. I had a friend, he was, big on, I'm gonna go to the Army. I'm gonna go to the Army at the, high school, and that's what I'm gonna do. And he actually did do it, but he ended up switching over to the Air Force. It's the best branch. I'm saying, I ain't even in the Air Force technically yet, but I'm still repping. That piqued my interest on the military altogether. So, I didn't pursue that right after high school. Right after high school, I pretty much just started working. So if I would have known now back then, this is what I would have been doing, I probably would have pursued this a long time ago, like actively pursuing it, not just like, I'm gonna do it. So I mean, one thing I can really say about that is, if you're thinking about it, look into it. Talk to multiple recruiters. Everybody's gonna tell you something a little bit different. And then if you know anybody in the service, in the military, talk to them as well. They can help you out and, call BS on what one person may say versus what another person may say, because they're actually living that experience. The reason I chose the Air Force was, both my grandfathers were in the Army, both Vietnam veterans. Thank them for their service. I have two pretty good friends that are in the Air Force. One that I spoke about already that was in the Army at first. And he's like one of the major reasons why I was like, okay, no, bump Army, bump Marines. I'm going straight Air Force. I already knew I wasn't going to the Navy. I didn't want to go to the Navy. I did more research on all of the branches, and I saw, there's a higher standard as far as getting into the Air Force. So your test scores have to be higher. And that's not to say that anybody in any of the other branches aren't smart. It's quite well known that most people in the Air Force are it's the smart people branch. That reason, not because, it's the smart people branch, but, the career fields that they have. When I was gonna go to college, I wanted to go in as an engineer, and I was interested in doing aerospace. So, I've always had a love for aviation. I went through a list of jobs with my recruiter. This is fast forward, going through the process and, been to MEPS and all of that. I'll give you all my MEPS stories, because I went to MEPS a ton of times. It was like one too many. I'm pretty sure I went to MEPS more than the average person went to MEPS, because that's another story. My friends told me, oh yeah, living situation is way better. The facilities, everything about it, they like your quality of life is what they told me to say. Your quality of life is way better than if you were in the Army or anywhere else. Vets will tell you, oh yeah, the Air Force, they have the best stuff. Their quality of life is the best. So just looking at it, single room dorms. Even though in tech school I'm seeing some people have roommates, some people don't. It just kind of depends. So the quality of life, the career fields, and all of those things, and those were the deciding factors that helped me choose Air Force. And then, just like I said, seeing somebody else's experience, going from Army to Air Force, which I've heard they don't really like doing that. So I don't know how he managed to do that, but he did it. So I leave for BMT in 12 days. I leave in 12 days. So my goal right now is to give you some content to look at. Like I said, I have old footage that I can still give you. I'm gonna give you, not can, but I will give you that old footage. I look totally different. I got a little beard and all of that. I've 100% cleaned up my look. So this is brand new Deshaun. This is not, civilian, get to look like how I want to look like. That's not that at all. This is it's totally different. I went through a ton of jobs. Like my recruiter, he gave me like a 3 or 4 page list of all of the jobs that I qualified for because my scores were, I scored pretty high on the ASVAB. I had a long list of jobs that I went through because my test scores were higher. So I did qualify for some reconnaissance jobs. I qualified for all of the mechanical jobs because my scores were really high in mechanical and electrical, and I had a really high general score too as well. But ultimately, out of all of those jobs, I chose something that was interesting to me because I know people in this field and I know how much you can make in this field. And it's not about the money, it's just all about my plan and what I want to do in my future. So that job, the AFSC, is air traffic control. I'm not sure the actual numbers and all that. Once I find it, I'll put it on the screen or, whatever. But air traffic control is my job in the Air Force, so that's what I'll be doing. And if you know about air traffic control, you can make a lot of money as an air traffic controller. Side story, going into the Air Force, I wanted to be a hero. So, I was looking at different things that would get me that training because I kind of knew I wanted air traffic control going in. Combat controller was one of the only job that offered air traffic control training along with the other special forces training in AFSOC. Kind of going back and thinking, I'm like, okay, well, with this job, I'll be on 24/7 call. I would, my training pipeline would be 2 years long. And it would be nothing but working out, which I'm completely fine with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But, kind of thinking about, wanting to start a family and all of those kind of things, being away from my family, not having the, I'm thinking like, how would I feel if, my brother or somebody, in the family that I was really close to, they get a call and say, oh, hey, look, we need you to be on the next flight within 30 minutes and, we're all opening presents on Christmas Day or in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner and things like that. I wouldn't want to miss out on those family events if I don't have to. So, I want the Air Force to work for me to where, I can have my cake and eat it too. And there are ways to do that. People have told me that. So, it's just all about your job selection and, what you're going to be doing. Don't choose a job that's going to have you working 18, 15-hour days. If you want to do that, that's fine. Do that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Something I realized going in, looking at the numbers, I'm kind of a numbers guy, is that we're all getting paid the same. Everybody's getting paid the same. So if you choose a job that's going to have you working 15-hour days and you're stressed out, it's your fault, dog. I'm not saying don't pick those jobs because some jobs are more demanding than other jobs, and that's just the way that it is. But you do get bonuses for those jobs too as well. So, that being said, trade-offs. My thing was air traffic control though, so I knew I wanted to do air traffic control going in. I know a few people that work in air traffic control. I've actually been in a tower and, you know, kind of been shadowing the person and watching them do what they do, you know, while on the job. So, got the knowledge on what the job is like, how stressful it can be, you know, and then, you know, just listening to their stories and, you know, seeing the lifestyle that they have that I could have too as well. So yeah, that's another thing. But I know coming out a job like that in the civilian world would get you 6 figures. So I mean, you're definitely gonna make over $100,000. You're going to make over $100,000 a year. That's why I chose it. Yeah, but so this video really was just more about introducing myself, setting the foundation for the channel. I'm gonna give you videos up until I leave. After I leave, you're gonna have to wait a few weeks and then I'll be back. So yeah, until the next video, I'm Allison. See you in the next one.